When you have a baby, don't just have a baby. Do all you can to have a healthy baby. Even as the male sperm enters the egg, a great deal has already been decided by heredity. Much also depends on the mother's health habits and nutrition, not just when she is pregnant, but all during her life. But a great deal also depends on what happens while the new life grows in the mother's body. By the end of the first day, the fertilized egg has divided into 2 cells. The division goes on more and more rapidly as it travels down the tube to the uterus. On about the 6th day, the small cluster of cells attaches to the wall of the uterus. A number of cells have come together here, the cells that will develop into a baby. The outer layer of cells now burrows into the network of blood vessels in the wall of the uterus. By the 14th day, it's a small bump in the uterus wall. From the mother's circulating blood, food and oxygen begin to nourish the new life. Now this small flat cluster of cells goes through an astonishing change. By day 25, a flat group of cells has become a tiny rounded body about the size of a grapeseed. The bulging yolk sac produces blood cells for a time, later becomes unimportant. This small pit is the beginning of an ear. An eye is a bulge of cells on the wall of the brain. The digestive system has begun to take form. By this time, blood vessels have formed. The heart has begun to pump. Blood flows through the umbilical cord into the placenta, where it circulates in small rootlets. The mother's blood flows around and past these rootlets, separated from the embryo's blood only by thin membranes. Waste products from the embryo pass through the membranes out into the mother's blood. Food, oxygen, and other things needed by the baby are taken in. All of this elaborate development is happening in and around a tiny organism that is still less than 1/8 of an inch long. By this time, a mother may have missed a period and begun to suspect she's pregnant.
Honey?
Huh?
You know what?
I can't hear you.
It's It's not important anyway.
She can't be sure, but if she's a responsible person, she'll make a date with her clinic or doctor right away. Because the first 12 weeks are the most important a baby will ever go through.
And have you ever had any problems with your health? High blood pressure? Is there any problem as far as
Not that I've ever heard of.
hypertension or high blood pressure in your family?
The doctor will want to know many things. Conditions such as diabetes or heart disease might affect the development of the baby. Most women are healthy. Most women have healthy babies, but too many don't.
It's normal.
If the mother is in bad health or poorly nourished, certain things may be missing from her bloodstream. If so, she could lose her baby, or it might be born defective. Remember those figures? Most miscarriages can't be prevented and aren't anybody's fault. However, doctors warn that women who are poorly nourished are more likely to have miscarriages. There are two other kinds of possible danger to the embryo. It may be harmed from the outside, as for instance by X-rays, if they are aimed right at the baby. X-rays may change the perfectly timed cell growth. No doctor would allow this to happen if he suspected the woman might be pregnant. The other avenue of possible harm is through the placenta. The virus of German measles, for example, will reach the embryo from the mother's blood and may cause serious birth defects during the second and third months. If the mother has syphilis, which isn't treated, spirochetes will endanger the baby gravely. Certain harmful drugs, too, pass from the mother's bloodstream into the embryo, as, for instance, thalidomide, the drug that caused so many tragically deformed babies. A harmful drug will affect different parts of the embryo, depending on the stage of pregnancy at which it's taken. At this stage, thalidomide attacks the ears. Five days later, the arms. Still later, the legs. A word to the wise. Don't doctor yourself with drugs, not even with such things as aspirin or vitamins, without a doctor's advice.
Mrs. Bradley, and we'll plan to see you next month, okay? Do you have any questions before you go?
Unfortunately, many mothers don't realize they're pregnant for several weeks, during this time of formation when there's the greatest chance of disruption. In the middle of the fourth week, the central nervous system goes through the most important and rapid stage of its growth. During the same 10 days, other organs are developing. At first, the digestive tract is a fairly simple tube. The liver and the windpipe now begin to develop. The stomach and intestines are forming. The kidneys just beginning to branch out. Arms and legs have begun to develop. At 6 weeks, the embryo is almost an inch long. All of this time, it floats in a bag of waters, the amniotic fluid that helps to protect it. It won't be long before the embryo begins to look human. Eight weeks. It has a skeleton of cartilage, just beginning to turn into bone. A complete set of tiny muscles. A growing nervous system that will soon be able to move the muscles. A brain, a miniature marvel, about to start a spurt of development. "12 weeks, 3 months. A single cell has grown to billions. The baby has reached a milestone. The first 12 weeks are over, that most complicated period of formation, when there was the greatest chance of disruption. Now he's called a fetus, rather than an embryo. Now comes the time of growth. During the next 3 months, he grows from 4 inches to almost 10. A miniature baby.
Do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it kicking?
Mm-hmm. I think he's got boots on.
Here, give me a good. No.
Groceries.
Thank you.
One of the things that every doctor talks about is the mother's need for the right foods and the right amount.
Anything I can do to help?
Yes. You can come make some salad if you like.
Many people don't care enough to take care of themselves. But no mother has the right to deny her baby the food it needs. The final months are when the baby fills out. However, not all are carried by their mothers for the full 9 months. Like this baby, about 1 out of 14 are born prematurely. There is a much greater chance that this baby might have been damaged mentally or physically than if he were born at the normal time. An important reason for premature delivery is poor nutrition and health habits of the mother. The home stretch. By the end of the 8th month, he has put on fat. At last, he's ready to start life on his own.
You want to see now? Turning back, there's your shoulder.
Can you see?
It's wanting to cry already, Dottie, and it isn't even born. Okay, now one quick push again. Quick push. Now, pan again. The girl! Beautiful. Look, Dottie. Yeah, you got the cord caught around the arm. Can you see? See? Oh, what are you fussing about?
Okay.